Hello, my beautiful friends. Before we dive into today's episode, I created something for you totally free because I know so many of you are going through a major up level and refining your self concept as a leader. So, I created a client magnet activation meditation that is going to help you not only attract soulmate clients with ease, but it's going to support you as you elevate into the leader who is magnetic AF and manifests amazing things. So go ahead into the show notes and click on the link, Client Magnet Activation, and you can get your free meditation. So let's dive right in. Today we are talking about getting unstuck and gaining clarity. First, I want to go over why the science, I guess you could say, or the reason why so many people feel stuck. And then at the end of the episode, I'm going to share some contemplation questions that you can start to practice to start to get some clarity and start to take some action towards what it is that you want to create. All right? So let's dive in. Some of the reasons why many people feel stuck is, or at least what I see with my clients that come to work with me, is it's usually a sign. Feeling stuck is usually a sign that you're out of alignment with your values. That's one reason. The other reason that is a common one is there's something in your life that you are rationalizing to tolerate. So go back and listen to episode 2 because I talk about this. Usually, when you're rationalizing something to tolerate it, what's really happening is that you're moving from the stage of manifestation, which is stage 2. You're moving from stage 2 into stage 3 and 4 of manifesting. And so here, if you're in this space of like you're rationalizing things in your life in order to tolerate them, it can be a little bit harder to detect why you're stuck because you have gotten so good at rationalizing. What I mean by this is usually people at this stage have done already a lot of work on themselves, personal development work, healing work, etc. And you've gotten to a point where life is pretty good and you just rationalize things as like trying to be non-judgmental of them, but what really is going on is rationalizing. So those are two main reasons why most people feel stuck. There's so many more underlying reasons when we start to dive into what the root cause is of feeling stuck. That can be either really obvious or really subtle, like fear of failure, having self-doubt. And so these feelings keep you stuck. Sometimes you might be going through overwhelm, or you might be running the perfectionist loop. And again, if you are, then these are reasons why you stay stuck. But the key here is, number one, having the awareness of like, okay, I feel stuck. I always like to offer people when they're feeling stuck to start by checking in with what their values are and making sure that they are, in fact, not out of alignment with their values. So I like to check in on my values about every 3 months just to make sure that, I do stay in that forward movement momentum. This is something that, you can just do for yourself. If you don't know what your values are, then you can just Google a list of values and see what resonates with you. And then the other part of the awareness is just asking yourself, where am I? What in my life right now would I like to change that I'm just rationalizing to tolerate? So that's the first few steps to start to play with the awareness that's coming up for you around feeling stuck. And then the other part of all of this is looking at where you can start to take radical responsibility for your life. Because another part that of being stuck that happens unconsciously is that we're given our power away to anything external, anything outside of us. Like we really truly start to believe that, well, I feel stuck because I'm missing something and it's outside of me. And then here's where the shove and love is going to come into play. If you're feeling stuck, the only person in your way is you. There's nothing outside of you. There's no astrology reading, there's no coach, there's no anything outside of you that's going to help you get unstuck. The only person that has to choose getting unstuck is you. Now, your brain gets really smart, and this also depends on what's going on in the nervous system, which I'll do an episode on. But your brain gets really smart, especially when you're on the cusp of an up level. It'll start to tell you that you're stuck. It'll start to trick you into ways of making you think and believe that you're stuck and that the answers are actually outside of you. So, this is no fault of your own. It's just that the logical mind wants to keep you safe. And so it starts to tell you that you can't find the answers. Okay. So the contemplation questions I'm going to provide for you are actually a way to get out of that logical thinking mind and your conscious mind, as I like to say, and to start to get more into the higher level of consciousness, which is your subconscious, and to start to get the answers from there. Because remember, if you're trying to figure out how to get unstuck from your conscious mind, you're going to get the same answers that you're getting that's created this current reality. Because the conscious mind only works with what is happening in your current reality. What we want to do, and this is why we use contemplation questions, is you want to create a gap between the conscious and the subconscious so that it gets filled by your higher levels of consciousness. This is why we contemplate. Contemplating is going to help you to allow the answers to come through you rather than stay in that loop of trying to find the answers, which is really, if you're feeling stuck, you're trying to find answers from a place of stuckness. I hope that made sense. So, first things first is taking radical responsibility without judgment, doing it from a place of compassion. Okay, I'm feeling stuck. Let me start to contemplate why I'm feeling stuck. And then, really, at the end of all of this, is all about taking action, even if it's messy action, because action is what is going to help you create traction. And when you create traction, you start to reveal the next steps on your journey. So let me say that again. If you're feeling stuck, you're going to start to use these contemplative questions to start to get clarity, which oftentimes will come as a form of not making logical sense. And it's going to be up to you to take action. Clarity comes with taking action because action creates traction and momentum that then gives you more evidence, more pieces of the puzzle for you to continue to move forward towards what it is that your next step is, what it is that your next step in the co-creation process is. Okay. So getting unstuck is really all about shifting your energy and your mindset to move forward. And one of the quickest ways to do that is to take action. And part of that is taking radical responsibility. So, first things first, you start to take radical responsibility. Stop looking for answers and for saviors outside of you. Stop looking for fixes and pointing the finger at, well, I'm not where I want to be because this person, because this program, because this thing, because this happened to me. Because that's just going to keep you in the loop of stuckness. All right. So we're moving out of logic and into awareness and into the answers that are already within us. All right. Once you checked in with what your values are and where you're rationalizing and you start to really get real with you, then you're going to start to practice these contemplation questions, which again, when I share the importance of contemplating. It's asking the question, not trying to come up with the answer yourself from the logic mind, releasing the question and letting the answers come to you. And the way those answers come to you can be in so many different ways. It can be, all of a sudden you're taking a shower and you start to get these downloads or these ideas, or you're having a conversation with somebody and they mention something that lands with you. I call them intuitive hits. Or you're driving in your car somewhere and again, you maybe listen to a song and it reminds you of something and you're like, oh my God, this is an idea, you know? So these contemplation questions are really going to start to move you from, like I said, trying to figure it out on your own. And once you start to implement what the next steps are and take that action, you're going to start to move out of self-doubt, out of perfectionism, out of those fears that we all have of failure. But I cannot stress this enough, you guys. It's all in the action. If you don't take action, and and let me add this while I'm saying this, because sometimes action can be masked as, well, I am taking action, I'm meditating. I am taking action, I'm journaling. I am taking action, I'm, practicing yoga. That's all lovely and those are great practices, but I'm talking about like the real rubber meets the road action. And so there's another opportunity for you to get real with yourself. If this is in fact you're taking the actions of like the healing stuff, but you're not taking the actions of the actually taking the inspired action towards your manifestation. There's an opportunity there, if this is you, to get real and to ask yourself, well, what's the real action that needs to happen here? The real tactical action, rubber meets the road action. Okay. So pay attention to that too. All right. The first question I love to play with, because your brilliant mind at this stage that you're all at is going to play tricks on you and tell you that you don't know the answer to your next level or to the clarity or to whatever the next step is that you need to take. Your mind is going to say, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know who I am. I don't know what my next step is. So the first contemplation question is, if you did know, what would the answer be? If I did know, what would the answer be? And then release the question and let the answers come to you and watch what happens. Because you do know. Deep down, you know. And those of you who have gotten really good at rationalizing to tolerate, you really know, but you just don't want to confront that knowing. So that's the first question. The second question is, and this is a question that's going to take you out of any potential judgment that's going on in your conscious mind and any potential judgment, especially around, I'm afraid to fail. The question is, if nothing were good or bad or right or wrong, if nobody would be upset, what would I want? What would I allow myself to have? Okay. That's really going to open up the portals of desires that align with your highest vision. Because a lot of us have these underlying fears of leaving people behind or upsetting people in our tribe. And that's perfectly normal because we are all wired to belong and to be part of a tribe. And we again, it's very unconscious, but we think that if we start to grow and we start to go after what we desire, that we're going to leave others behind or that others will be upset by us. Okay, so that's question number 2 is if nothing were good, bad, right, or wrong, no one would be upset. What would I want? What would I allow myself to desire? Okay. The third question is this is one of my favorites because I have suffered a lot of loss in my life and I understand all too well the, you know, the impermanence, the impermanence of life. So, if I knew that I only had 1 year to live, what would I want to accomplish? And what would I want to experience? If I only knew that I only had 1 year to live, what would I want to accomplish? And what would I want to experience? And watch what shoots up to the top of your list of priorities when you ask this question. This question also very much aligns you with your values. If you don't know what your values are, ask this question, and whatever shoots up at the top of your priorities, that is one of your highest values. Okay? And then the next question, question number 4, is what would I attempt to do if I could not fail? If I was guaranteed that I couldn't fail, what would I do or attempt to do? Again, this question is really a great one for those of us who have that perfectionist vein or we are having some self-doubt or we fear failure. Okay. And the other part of this is less of a question and more of a practice. I call it unicorn brainstorming because, when we are little kids and we're in such state of presence and creativity and joy and wonder, because little kids haven't fully developed their analytical mind yet, we allow ourselves to be so creative and so innovative and so inspired, and we take action from that energy of inspired action. And we are no holds barred because we're not, like I said, we haven't developed the analytical mind, so we're not really in any judgment, and we just do the thing. We're never stuck when we're little kids. You ever notice that? Like when you were a little kid, you play with wild abandon. And so this practice, the unicorn brainstorming, is again going to open up the subconscious, that part of us that is childlike and innovative and creative, away from the analytical mind, going to open up the portals of receiving from that space of creativity and innovation. Okay. And it's going to help us find the answers beneath the conscious mind. So, the way I like to play with this is what if, what if, dot, dot, dot. And I want you to just go into like a soul dump of all magic, of holy crap, what if this got to be my life or my business? What if I made $1 million in 3 months? What if I got to speak on major stages? What if I fell in love with the love of my life tomorrow? Play with what if and do like a stream of consciousness, but from that space of awe and wonder, like crazy, holy crap, this is my life stream of consciousness. Take a piece of paper, take your journal, and set your timer for 20 minutes on your phone and do the what if exercise. This is unicorn brainstorming. I'm talking like, don't think about it, just brainstorm like crazy, wild, epic, childlike wonder, creative, innovative amazingness, and watch what downloads. This also is going to activate the frequencies in your body that are that come from the feel good hormones, and it's going to activate that feeling of like joy and like, oh my god, goodness. And if you want to really supercharge this, after you do the 20 minutes, put some music that activates you on and start dancing. What this is going to do is it's going to anchor the emotions of the unicorn brainstorming session. It's going to anchor these emotions into your body at a deeper level. All right, so to recap the questions, the first question is, if you're really feeling like you don't know and your brain is telling you, well, I don't know how to get unstuck, I don't know the answers. If I did know, what would the answer be? If I did know, what would the answer be? The second question is, if nothing were good or bad, right or wrong, no one would be upset by me. What would I want? And what would I allow myself to desire? The third question, if you knew that you only have 1 year to live, what would you want to accomplish and experience? Okay. And watch what happens, what would shoot up to the top of your list of priorities. The fourth question, what would you do or attempt if you could not fail? If failure is not even an option, what would you do or attempt? Okay. And then the fourth is really more of a practice. It's the unicorn brainstorming, where you are going to put your timer on your phone for 20 minutes and ask what if, and tap into what if from that childlike wonder. Pretend you're a little kid. What if, and let all of the innovation and creativity flow through you of the life and the business and the big vision that you desire, and allow to come, whatever is coming through you, to come through you, and journal what that is. And then added bonus, go put some music on afterwards and dance so you can anchor all of these codes into your body. All right, my friends, I hope you got a ton of value from this episode, and I will see you on the next one.